Muri has knowledge of an intriguing opportunity. Tolucc, have you any interest in history? If so, I would share with you an opportunity to study the ways of the ancients. A curiously refined and well-read marauder visited the guild the other day in the hopes he might meet an Arcanist of exceptional skill. He claims that the assistance of one such individual would be invaluable for the success of his archaeological research. I say claims because despite his eloquence, the thought of a marauder with academic ambition still strikes me as odd. You are, of course, free to formulate your own opinions. His name is Tolucc, and he can be found at the Marauders Guild should curiosity overwhelm you. Thank you for setting aside your preconceptions, Tolucc. I'm acutely aware of how unusual it is for a marauder to conduct research, as it were. However, you shall soon understand that I am not at all like my more muscular brethren. Rather than rush blindly into the enemy's maw, I formulate and execute stratagems to great effect. My archaeological pursuits are but an extension of this practice, for at present I am researching the military tactics of ancient Nim. 'Twould not surprise me if you were unfamiliar with Nim. The civilization flourished some 15-odd centuries ago during the 5th Astral Era. The Nimians lived during an age of wonders, when the magical arts flourished, but magics can be wielded for weal or for woe, and this period of peace eventually gave way to the Great War of the Magi. The nations of that bygone era brought earth-shattering magics to bear against one another, yet Nim, with only a handful of mages to support its army of mariners, repulsed would-be invaders time and time again. Precisely how a military force of this composition could defy its stronger neighbors is a mystery which has long puzzled military historians. By translating extant Nimian tablets, which I have recently purchased, I mean to solve the riddle at long last. As my knowledge of Arcanima is curiosity at best, I require an experienced Arcanist to assist me with my analysis of any text pertaining to the magical arts. Would that be you, that Arcanist, Tolucc? There is, however, a complication. The Nimian tablets are other assorted relics, for which I paid an exceedingly large amount of money, were stolen en route to Limsa Lominsa. The information inscribed upon those tablets could be of untold significance. I will not allow thieves to sell it to some rich Ulden collector for a pittance. Pray, accompany me to the Raincatcher Gully docks and help me reclaim my relics. I have a strong reason to believe the perpetrators can be found there. As I suspected, they are not more than broken men who have seized the docks and taken to robbing every passing ship. Come, let us put an end to their banditry and take back what is ours. Yes, yes! This is it! A treatise on Nemean military tactics, just as I had hoped. Hello there. Mayhap the tablet can explain this. Scholars, familiar... Fairies! The sunlight of Eos doth soothe and shield. The moonlight of Selene doth silence and strengthen. Tolucc. By the 12, have you any idea what this means? We have rediscovered the long-lost magical arts of Nemean scholars. Fairies. Honest to God's fairies. Well, now I have seen everything. Anyway, I shall return to the guild and begin translating the tablet. I cannot wait to see what other secrets it contains. Excellent timing, Tolucc. I've just finished transcribing a section which will doubtless be of interest to you. According to the tablet, the crystal from which the fairy sprang forth is called the Soul of the Scholar, and it contains the wisdom of those long-dead Nemean mages. With it, you can call upon the fairies you did before and bind her to your will. As I said before, I have little knowledge of the Arcanima, so unless you have some objections, I would like to entrust the crystal to you. Oh, and you needn't recompense me, as simply knowing that the lost arts are being preserved is enough. I shall devote my energies to deciphering the remaining text. Should I discover anything new, I promise that you'll be the first to know. Alcazolco wishes to share with you his most recent discoveries. Tolucc, I was hoping you might come along. Deciphering the treatise has proven more difficult than I anticipated, but I have nevertheless made progress. It contains a wealth of military knowledge, much of which details the role of the scholars in Nemean units. Apparently, a single scholar could provide effective support for an entire party of marauders. They would employ their magics to heal the wounds and enhance the abilities of their allies. Moreover, they often served in leadership roles, as they were highly trained tacticians. But how swiftly the remembrance of all things is buried in the gulf of eternity. The treatise indicates that Nemean scholars wielded a far more diverse repertoire of spells than you currently possess. Precisely why you lack these spells I cannot say. However, the fault may lie with your fairy. One could surmise that the knowledge contained within the soul of the scholar is essentially hers. Therefore, if she cannot remember the ancient magics, it would suggest that, a thought occurs to me. If it is indeed the case that the fairy, having been sealed for 1500 years, has yet to fully regain her senses, mayhap visiting a familiar location would hasten the process. And I can think of no more familiar place than the city of Nim, rather, what remains of it in outer Lenotia. Welcome back, Tolucc. I gather the experiment met with success? Then this strongly suggests that each fairy is a distinct individual with her own thoughts, feelings, and her memories. Well, I must redouble my efforts to translate the remaining text. At this rate, your discoveries threaten to overshadow mine. Not to bemoan your accomplishments, but I have yet to decipher any equally amazing stratagems. Soon enough, though, soon enough. Hakazolko looks pleased to see you. How curious that you always come at the most opportune time, Tolucc. 'Tis divine providence, almost. Doubly so, since we've both been blessed with a chance to refine our respective arts. You see, in your absence, I've been studying a section of the Nemean treats detailing marauder fighting techniques. The fundamentals do not differ much from the modern methods, but there's a slight variations in the footwork and grip, as well as distinctions between the various ranges and the attacks best employed when— Forgive me, I lost sight of the more pertinent point. Nemean scholars and marauders fought side by side, yes? Well, now you and I have an opportunity to do the same. A Tonberry has been spotted in Bronze Lake, and the Marauders Guild has been asked to dispatch it. Since Tonberries dwell within the Wanderer's Palace, an ancient Nemean temple recently discovered in the wake of the calamity, there's a strong possibility that the creatures have resided since before the fall of Nim. Do you follow my reasoning, Tolucc? These malevolent creatures may have overrun the temple and claimed it for their own at the height of the Nemean civilization. They may have posed a major threat to the ancient people even. If so, then surely facing one in battle will rekindle the memories of the fairy. Even if I'm mistaken, the Tonberry poses a threat to the locals. Moreover, I would very much like to put my newly learned Nemean techniques to the test. So, we will rendezvous outside the Wanderer's Palace, yes? Well met, Tolucc. I had only just arrived myself. 'Twas in this vicinity that the Tonberry was last sighted. With luck, it'll not have gone far. Look, atop the stairs! My son, my dear son, at long last, The rancor, it rises, it rises! It comes. Brah! What are you doing? Move, damn you! My... Confound it all! Bah, what happened, Tolucc? I thought you could control her. I apologize. I know that you have only just begun to work with the fairy. Some disobedience is to be expected. Axemaster Wires Owen will be disappointed, but there is naught we can do. The Tonberry is long gone. Let us return to Limsa Laminsa. Tolucc, permit me to apologize a second time. Earlier, I was flustered and not myself. In the aftermath of the Tonberry's escape, I completely overlooked our accomplishments. We confirmed the viability of Nemean tactics and proved that a scholar and marauder working in tandem is a force to be reckoned with. Would you not say? And correct me if I'm mistaken, but your fairy regained some of her memory, yes? With that in mind, I feel comfortable claiming that the was worthwhile endeavor. However, do try and gain greater mastery over your minion, Tolucc. I would hate for a repeat of that incident. Alcazolca has news which should be of great interest to you. Good to see you, Tolucc. I have made yet another discovery which pertains to you and your scholarly arts. I have come into possession of several ancient engravings, including some which show the traditional raiments of Nemean scholars. In fact, the extraordinary detail of these illustrations, coupled with information gleaned from other sources, was sufficient to deduce their design. At present, it is impossible to say how historically accurate my designs are. That is why I propose we enlist the aid of Eorzea's preeminent artisans, so that we might recreate these garments. Should they prove sufficiently authentic, I expect your fairy will regain some more of her missing memories. In the hands of a preeminent weaver, say Master Redelblond Rose of Sunsilk Tapestries, this information should be sufficient. But you cannot journey to Ulda until you have gathered the leaves of a direwort. My texts explicitly mention that the plant's pigments were used to dye Nemean uniforms. Alas, direwort is much rarer than it was in the days of yore. It can only be found on the Fogfins now. Lest you think I mean to make you do all the work, worry not. While you scour Mordona for the plant, I'll contact Master Rose and convince him to help, though I doubt it'll require much effort. suppose you do have rather a scholarly air about you. I've been expecting you to look. Have you the leaves of Alcazolco's designs, then? Crafting raiments that have not been seen in 1,500 years? This is indeed a daunting challenge. But it is one I suspect I will enjoy a great deal, for rare is the day a weaver revives his ancient fashion. I shall begin at once. You may observe if you like, but be aware it'll be a lengthy process. It has been some time since I was labored with such intensity. I adhered to Alcazolco's designs as best I could, though there were certain aspects I felt compelled to change. His lack of familiarity with textiles and weaving led to what I can only assume are errors. You will note that I can only complete the cutlets. This is because the other garments require skills which I do not possess. Mistresses Serendipity and Jiva of goldsmiths and leatherworking guilds, respectively, can provide the finishing touches to the remaining pieces. Ah, but you were unaware that I could not craft the full set by myself, weren't you? Very well. I shall send word to them on your behalf, Tolucc. You'll need only visit each guild and present them with my unfinished work. Greetings, Tolucc. Red said that you'd be along shortly, so let's see that motorboard. This shouldn't take long. Wait here a moment. Here it is, as promised. Amazing what a difference mithril tassel can make, isn't it? Wear it with pride, Tolucc. Now off you go, and be sure to enjoy your time in Gridania. Ah, Tolucc, the woman who would single-handedly revive the scholarly arts. Alright then, show me what you got. Master Rose's work is marvelous, as to be expected. This will be a pleasure. There you go. One pair of fingerless buffalo leather gloves. Perfect for the scholar who prefers that her protection does not come at a cost of dexterity. Oh, the boots? Belly will see to those. He's an expert cordwainer, so you needn't worry about the quality. Besides, I've already spoiled you by making your gloves for free. You're the scholar, yes? I've been instructed to assist you. If you would please, let me see your Master Rose's work. This craftsmanship is amazing. I cannot wait to get started. Here you are, madam. Made with the finest boar and buffalo leather in accordance with Alcazolco's designs, which are very impressive, I must say. You must be dying to see the completed set. I know I would be, had I gone to such great lengths. You ought to surprise him by wearing the garments when you next see him. By the gods, I feel as though I've been transported backwards through time. You're the very image of Endymion scholars of Eld. Well, mine is the gown, but still. Never in my wildest dreams did I think it would turn out this well. I see you approve as well, little one. Suffice it to say, we can consider this a great success. Alcazolca wishes to propose another way you might rekindle your fairy's memories. Ah yes, I forgot to mention that while I was awaiting your return, I made considerable progress with deciphering of the Mynimian tablets. Much of what I have learned until now has pertained to the roles of scholars within the military. However, these latest texts offer insight into a scholar's activities during times of peace. As you can imagine, they were not the sort to let their restorative magics go to waste. One particularly stirring account describes their selfless efforts to combat the spread of a virulent plague, which at one point threatened to engulf all of Nim. Naturally, they did so with the aid of their fairies, which is why I believe that similar acts of charity may serve to further awaken your winged companion. If you are of mind to test my theory, why not journey to the Camp Bronze Lake? You'll find no shortage of sick and wounded there. Rakusa Farusa would doubtless welcome your services were you to offer them. He presides over the Wormmine Sanatorium, so be sure to have a word with him if you decide to go. Hello, and welcome to Bronze Lake. If you desire treatment, Pardon? You wish to administer treatment? Are you even qualified to... Wait, you must be Tolucc the Scholar. We are happy to accept any assistance you can provide. I'm told you possess magics which can cleanse the body of toxins, impurities, and maladies. At the present, we have 5 patients visiting the springs who would benefit from this care. Pray, attend to these individuals and return to me when you're finished. My lungs, I can breathe again. Bless you, miss, bless you. Huh? What the? Why'd you have to go and do that? Ah, bugger. Now they'll take me wine away. Eh? What did you do? You took something from me. Something bad. I don't know what you did, but I'm glad you did it. Thank you. What's this warmth? Did you do that? I thank you, whoever you are. You've set me free. I no longer feel his eyes upon me. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. What you did for those patients was nothing short of miraculous. The commanding officers will be pleased to hear that they can return to active duty. You and Alcazolca have my deepest thanks, Tolucc. Ah, Tolucc. Rakusa Farusa tells me that your potent magics exceed all expectation. Had a good time, did you? Aye, I thought you might. It warms my heart to see the two of you making such great strides, and it reminds me that I must work harder to see that I'm not left behind. For the nonce, I will resume deciphering the Nemean tablets. Though they have yielded an immense quantity of information on the scholarly arts, I remain confident that they contain an equally impressive wealth of tactical information. Alcazolka has an urgent request. Tolucc, you must come with me at once. Another Tonberry has emerged from the Wanseer's palace. A traveling peddler caught sight of the fiend and fled to Camp Bronze Lake. Once again, it falls to the Marauders Guild to find and slay it. This time we will hunt the Tonberry in greater numbers, so that we might surround it and cut off all avenues of escape. I've not forgotten our previous attempt to slay one of the foul creatures. Nor have you, I trust? I have your assurances that you will keep your fairy in line this time, right? Then let us make for Bronze Lake at once. Our comrades have already departed and I do not wish to fall behind. We'll rendezvous with them at the same place that we battled the first Tonberry. Thank the gods you've come, Tolucc. Any later we might have had to proceed without you. The Tonberry appears to be in some sort of trance and is oblivious in our presence. Is everyone ready? Excellent. Remember, we must surround the fiend. It cannot be allowed to flee. My son, my dear son, stay away. I cannot. Damn it, not again. It seeks sanctuary inside the Wanderer's Palace. Come, let us follow and finish this once and for all. What? Again? Why do you protect this demon? The rancor, Lily, my son! Why are you here? Who has summoned you? The Nim is no more? 1,500 years? Can it truly be so? I was, Cerrito Corrido, before the sickness from the sea transformed me. The traders, they were the first. As their ears and noses began to atrophy, their limbs grew shorter and their skin. We scholars tried to halt the spread, tried to find a cure, but in time we too fell ill. Sympathy turned to fear and fear to anger. Monsters, they called us. Abominations. Then you were once a man? They sealed the sick within the temple with magics, tried to drown us, tried to forget us. Though our bodies had been changed, our minds remained intact. But within every man lurks a beast. When those whom call you kin deny you, come to hate you and despise you, I too succumbed to the rancor, until you reunited me with Lily, my dearest son. Long has my mind been clouded with hatred, but by the resplendent light of Lily, at long last I am free. I nearly killed him. Thanks to the gods, the fairy stopped me. I wonder, did she know it was Cerrito from the beginning, or was it only... in any case, she has regained a good portion of her memories, if not all of them, I suspect. Well, if you would excuse me, I need to take some time and put my thoughts in order, and decide how I might explain this to the Axe Master. So wait a bleeding moment. That Tonberry used to be a scholar like you? So does that mean you'll turn into one of them if you keep slinging those spells? Or did I misunderstand what he said back there? Ah, the hell's with it. I came expecting to fight one Tonberry, not a whole bloody mess of them. If it wasn't for you and your flying friend, I reckon we'd not have been left there alive. Gotta say, you and the Alka make a great team. Shame there ain't more of you scholarly types around, cause I could use a partner like you. Take care, Tolucc. That the tradition of my people have not been lost to the ages is of great comfort to me. I do not know how the soul crystal came into your possession, but I'm glad that it did, for the sickness robbed me not only of my body, but of Lily as well. The soul of the scholar no longer resonates with my aether. I cannot summon her, only you can. Only you are fit to wield the magics now. Here, a gown as befits a scholar of your standing. I bequeath it to you, along with the knowledge of my sacred soil, my most versatile art. I cannot thank you enough for purging the rancor from my heart. But there are still countless others who have yet to see the light. I cannot abandon them to their fate. I will not. And so I bid you farewell, Tolucc. Carry on our traditions with pride.